Morning. Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy with Crannk.com. Today I'm having a chat with Riggs and Andrew Lopez from Aenly out of the US of A. Really cool metalcore band, man. I caught their Up in Smoke track and was just fucking, dude, I've got to hear more of this. I kind of bounced back into the debut EP, Always Forward, and I fucking dig the sound, guys. So cheers for joining me, man.
Nice, thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Happy to be here, man.
Hell yeah.
Cool, man. So where are you guys based?
Los Angeles, little town called Laverne.
Laverne?
It's on the outskirts.
Okay.
I'm myself. I'm from a couple cities over, but it's like maybe 20 minutes difference, so we're right here.
Yeah. So did you both kind of grow up in that area there?
Yeah, he did. Wanna go?
Oh yeah. No, I grew up in Laverne and Los Angeles since I was born, basically. Yeah. So yeah, I've been here all my life, and it's all right. It's hot. It's hot right now, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's starting to get cold here, dude. I've had my heater going, so.
Oh man, hey, let me get over there.
For real? Oh my gosh.
Man.
So, how about you, Andrew?
I've lived here my whole life as well. I've been around LA a few times. I used to live in downtown LA, and then some other cities here and there, and now I finally resided in Ontario, which is the 2 city over place from here. And yeah, I've been here for about 4 years, 5 years.
Hey, you can't even remember? God, this guy.
4 years.
It gets like that though. Life just, especially in this last however fucking months, man, it just feels like time is running at a different pace, man. So
most definitely.
It's crazy as, man. I like to ask this, and I always love to know what inspired first your passion for music in your home, essentially, and then what drove you to bring up your, to take on guitar, and then for Andrew for your vocals. Can we start with you, Riggs?
Actually, I started when I was like probably 4 or 5, man.
Yep.
Like, I started off on acoustic guitar, and then like,
Beast.
I broke that on accident, and then I switched to drums. So like, I play everything. I play bass, guitar, and drums. And that led all the way through high school. I was in marching band and all that kind of jazz. And then guitar just came about more because my brother-in-law, he was in a band with me in high school, and that was it. We started playing Deftones and shit like that, and it was like, god damn, like it was good, and like I love the vibe and stuff. So learned more on that, and then as far as Aenly, that I made after like the day after I got sober. Yep. I had a dream, and this was it, and like I heard all kinds of crazy music going on in my head, and I had to put it down. So this is what came about.
Yeah, man, and we'll definitely talk more about this because this is really cool, man. I'd love to add into this as well, but we'll get into that as we get on. Andrew, can you tell me a little bit about where your love for music developed? What kind of music you were getting into when you were younger, maybe like in your home, and then what drove you to take on vocals? Were you playing an instrument first, or what was your story, man?
When I was growing up, I was really into Spider-Man and all the Marvel movies, so shut up. I'm a nerd like that. But,
dude.
Hey, nice. But yeah, so I remember listening to the soundtrack for Spider-Man, and I was like, oh, wow, this rock music is pretty cool. And my mom introduced me to the soundtrack. I don't know how she learned from it. Daredevil, which was harder in sound, so I started getting an ear for that. And then come in middle school, I did choir, so that kind of started me with trying to sing, and it got me into the passion of singing. So that's kind of where I started. And then I met this dude in my 8th grade year who listened to nothing but death metal, and so I started to get more of a heavier sound just by listening to what he was listening to, and it just kind of progressed from there. And then I started screaming in high school, I want to say.
Yep.
And it was very challenging at first because I didn't have a place that I was able to do it or project it. So whenever my parents weren't home, I get home from school, I would hook up to the speaker system and just try it out. And I would always get headaches, and I'd always like not be able to do it. But after time, after trial and error, I was able to master the sound that I want. And it's funny because the main influence that I have in shaping my voice was Winston McCall from Parkway Drive.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Actually was in the music video for them in high school for Wild Eyes. Everyone was doing senior disc day, and I was there doing the music video. So it was pretty cool. It was a good experience.
That's cool. So it sounds like you both had fairly supportive homes with music and were very encouraging, especially with you, Riggs, starting at 4. Your parents must have been a really big influence to kind of inspire you. Am I right in saying that, or?
Kind of. My dad, well, they're from India. My parents are from India. So they had that kind of cultural sound going.
Music.
But my dad, as soon as he got here to America, like, he loves like heavy metal and stuff like that, and he's the one who got me into Metallica. So I'm like, God damn. So that came about. But my mom, she was a snare drummer in high school back in India. So that kind of played into, I guess, later on for me. Like, it was kind of in my blood, I guess.
Yep.
But the band that broke me in, I'm sorry, what's up?
I said, yeah, man, that's cool.
But the band that actually broke me into, like, really, really thinking outside the box, and, like, even these guys are like, all right, you need to shut up about them, is Meshuggah. That's my all-time favorite band.
Yeah.
They've influenced me in, like in so many different ways, and like now that's why I love playing 8-string guitars and 7-string guitars.
Yeah,
Only.
Meshuggah, insane, dude. Like, it's just so many different influences that go into a Meshuggah album. You play that to someone who has never really influenced metal, and their eyes are going to roll, dude. They're going to be like, what the fuck is this, dude?
Yeah.
It kind of is fairly complex, man. It's great music, man. I love Meshuggah, dude. I've got heaps of albums, man. Fuck, great.
That was actually, like, as soon as I heard Meshuggah, like, it seemed like everything, I could finally understand what was going on in music. It's kind of weird to say, but like, yeah, like, it's like, it finally, like, I understood how music was, you know, like, so it was pretty cool. Like, have you seen any of their live shows?
No, I haven't, dude. No, I have not. I got to get along and see any of the live shows, unfortunately. Being in regional South Australia here, dude, it's a little hard for me to get to these. I go to a lot of the local shows, dude. I try and support as much as the local scene as I can. I get over when the internationals come here as much as I can and do what I can. It's hard because, you know, life kicks your ass sometimes, and I've got 3 daughters. And you know, for me, this is an extension of my passion to share my love of music and bands like yourself, dude. You know,
hey, thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
seriously.
really cool.
Yeah, man. Riggs, you were saying like your family's from India. It's funny because my name, Jai, is actually an Indian name, dude. My my old pastor was like back, you know, when I used to go back ages ago with the kids and that. Changed now. I'm an atheist now. My beliefs have changed, but it was more for the kids.
Yeah.
I knew Sonny Pillay. He was an Indian pastor, man, and he was always really good to me when I was younger. He's like, your name's an Indian name, dude, and he told me the meaning behind it all, and it was really cool, man. It was funny how that worked, dude.
That's badass.
Yeah,
That's
man. So starting guitar and going into guitar, man, how did that form into Aenly? I'm assuming this wasn't your first rodeo, man, or your first band, is it, guys?
As far as guitars, yeah. This is my first band. As far as leading too, like, this is my first thing. But prior to this, like, I was in another band with. Prior to Aenly, there was a band called Revolution Underground that my guitar player Art invited me to try out for, and that, like, it was going good. We were playing shows, but then, like, the singer actually took off to Texas, and he's still good friends of ours, but it's just things didn't work out, like, as we planned. So I kind of was like, you know what, this is time. I need to make Aenly and really get things going, and started writing for that. But prior to all that, I was just a drummer in a band or a bass player in a band. That was about it.
And so I suppose guitar, as you were saying earlier on, guitar is something you were kind of leading into. So when the opportunity come along to kind of get in and form Aenly and get these guys together, man, can you tell me a little bit about that process leading into that? And as you're saying, the inspiration for starting Aenly.
Oh man, like that, it's a little bit of process. It started with just by myself. It was just me making music for at least like 5 months.
Yep.
And then my buddy Art hit me up and was like, hey, I think I found a singer through this app. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, so I did this app that was called Vamper, and it's basically a Tinder for musicians. So if you're looking for an engineer, bass player, vocalist, whatever, you put your resume out there, and whoever looks at it would be like, oh, you want to try out for this or whatever. So I had gotten hit up prior by another band, which I started before these guys, and they were some young cats, which was cool, but at the same time, it wasn't the feel that I wanted.
Yep.
And so our guitarist Art had hit me up through the app and asked me to meet him and meet Riggs here, which is the first time we met. And ever since then, we've been putting down ideas left and right and just kind of build off of each other. It's kind of like a domino effect. And it's like...
We brought out one single called Ignorance, and I was looking for like more members and stuff. And like I had Art come in, like we're doing this band Revolution Underground, and like so we're trying to juggle both. And so he was already around, so I asked him to come in, and I saw the dedication that their bass player was giving, but like the band wasn't really like solidifying it. So I was like, man, I got to get this guy in here. And I hit up Manny, bass player that's in Aenly now, hit him up, and he was all for it. I showed him the song. He's like, God damn, that's exactly what I want to do. And so I got him. And then we went through a couple of drummers. It didn't work out, you know, like just differences and like scheduling and stuff. And then just I think in January, February, that's when we got Connor. He hit me up on Instagram and was asking like, hey, I heard you guys are looking for a drummer. I was like, oh, most definitely. And right away, I gave him a task to do this one song called Disconnections. And so he did a playthrough of that, put it on his Instagram, and right away when I saw that, I was like, damn, this guy got dedication and has the drive. And totally, I was like, all right, I want you in Aenly. And he has his own studio and stuff like that. And he also, he's a pretty young cat. He just graduated high school. Congrats, you know? Yeah.
He's the baby of the band.
Yeah, he's the baby of the band.
But that's the thing. Like I've talked to a lot of bands. It's about finding that right connection, and it's good you get in there early and you find a bunch of dudes or girls or guys and girls, whoever you can connect with musically and have that same drive and ambition you do. You can't go along and have 2 or 3 of your members going, yeah, listen, man, we're really fired up to do this, and you have one of the guys that's just like, you know, I'm not really ready to commit, or, you know, and about having ideas and that musical talent. You know, Andrew, you bring in your vocals, Riggs, you got your guitar there, and then as you're saying with Manny on bass, and you know you've got Art with lead guitar, man, he's insane, and then Connor with drums. You got to find that right group of guys that you click with, and not only that, you got to get on. It's like you're a little family as well, dude. So I've talked to quite a lot of bands that have that same struggle as well, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we joke around a little bit too much sometimes. we mess with each other a lot, and you know, especially when we're practicing. Like I'm always in the middle of songs, like messing with this guy or holding the symbol of Connor's and shit like that. And
I always get the grief of the vocalists kind of play into like just the characteristics of vocalists being dramatic and all that stuff. They're always.
Hey, you brought that on yourself, man.
When you became a vocalist, you knew what was gonna happen. No, but yeah, it's funny. Like they always joke about that kind of stuff, and it's funny. Like I really enjoy having like people that I could joke with, but at the same time get shit done with.
Yeah, at the end of the day, man, we're all like really close friends. We barbecue together. We have all our, like, it's almost like a family. So it's good vibes, and it's always positive vibes with us. And that's one thing that's like that Aenly's about, is just nothing but positivity and like trying to like bring everybody together and give a positive message through our music, you know, and help people out.
We want people to find their
inner workings, like, you know, fine tune themselves to become the better version of themselves, you know?
Exactly. And speaking of vocals, sorry. You go, Riggs.
No, it's all good. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to comment on Andrew's vocals. They make it quite accessible, dude. You're heavy, man. You've got that, you know, that rage, that heavy bass, but it's clear. I can sit there and, you know, sing along with every fucking note you're singing, man, and get right into it. Especially, I can notice it with that EP, Always Forward. It felt like you connected there. The singles were cool, man. That was a great little first track, but especially more so in Up in Smoke, you can feel that tight musicianship. And with Andrew's vocals, dude, they're heavy, but they're very clear, and it makes it very accessible. It's metalcore, dude. I love metalcore that can do that, make it heavy, but the vocals don't get lost in the instruments as well. So it fucking fits really good, dude.
Hey, man, thanks.
That's really awesome. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
I'm blushing right now. No, but yeah, at first I wasn't able to. There was a lot of fine tuning for my vocals and stuff. So at first he pointed it out to me when we were trying to track down one of our earlier tracks. He was noticing that I was slurring a lot of my words with when it comes to like
the vowels and stuff.
Right. Sounding it out properly, as you say, like clearly.
Yeah.
And so I kind of took that and tried to work on that. And every time I was singing in my car or the shower or wherever, just trying to emphasize that and like really have it clear. And I wouldn't have gotten there if you didn't tell me. So like it's always constructive criticism, you know. We don't ever take it negatively.
Exactly, having a good group of guys, as we were saying before, that you can give that constructive criticism to and go, hey, I'm not getting all upset about this, and take it and be all professional and go, okay, I'm going to do this, and it actually works for the benefit of the band, man, and that comes through really well, dude. And you can notice it in this latest track, Up in Smoke, man. That's beast, man. That's I got the hell out of that, dude. I was like, I got to hear my man. So
even on that one, I think during the second at the end of the second chorus, right?
Oh yeah, the long scream.
There's a long scream, and when we were doing that tracking, oh man, it was tough.
Yeah, I got him to hit some long screams on that one, or that section. It was painful.
I know, we were like, oh, so right here, and he's like, I was like, fuck, no, I couldn't get it, and he's like, nah, dude, do it again. Like, how was that?
And that's the greatest thing is that I have my own studio here, and like, we do everything in here. I mix it and everything, so it's like it's an easier process, and I don't have to really rely on anybody, and then them messing up the sound that we want and we're trying to go for.
It's easier for us to hone in on the sound that we want, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we've been upgrading a lot of he's been upgrading a lot of the system, and he's been learning a lot how to mix, how to master, and like all this stuff, and you could definitely tell in Up in Smoke. It's like amazing.
Yeah, that actually that's my first mixing job.
Because that was going to be my next question, dude. I knew you were producing and that, and I was going to ask, like, you know, what was that process like? You know, having more control of your work, and as opposed to the earlier stuff, like the debut EP. Did you mix and produce that as well, or what was the go with that one?
I produced. Actually, I played all the instruments on the EP and the singles prior. So I did the drums, bass, guitar, and guitar, except for vocals, you know. But mixing, we had this guy named, his name is Mikhail. He mixed our EP, and then prior to that, this guy named Brandon. The last name slipping my mind right now. But and like they're great, but there's a specific sound I wanted to go for, and like this raw sound that Ross Robinson from Korn, that produced Korn and Slipknot. Like I'm trying to like bring like that old school thing with like a modern vibe to it. And like the process for that, like it was a little tedious because it was my first time doing it. But now like I'm doing little clips here and there, like for myself, just to, you know, keep learning and stuff. And I put them up on my Instagram, and like I'm fine tuning everything. So I think our next single that we're going to bring out is going to be way better, you know, like heavy sounding and stuff like that.
It'd be rewarding as hell, dude, like having that final product too, you know, and no one knows the sound better than you, Riggs, what you want and what you're going for there with the band as well. So to have that control, man, it would have been really cool. As you're saying, you've done all the instruments except for the vocals. Of course, Andrew was doing that, but it would have been good having a band as well back in with this Up in Smoke, because it would have been a little more less weight off your shoulders, and then you can put a little more into the production side of thing and your guitars. And was it a little easier that way, or?
It was way easier. Actually, I think this song took 4 days to do. You know, like it took me 4 days to do everything. Like as far as like the guitars, you know, like everybody else had their input, and it was easier. You know,
that's what.
Sorry.
No, you go, Andrew.
We were both going through a little something, like with our lives or pertaining to personal stuff. So he was getting into, like, when he gets in a mood, he like thinks of a riff and just starts putting it down. So we were both going through some shit, and I started writing, and he told me once we come down, because I try to come down maybe twice a week at least during the week, and then once in practice. So
well, about 4 days later, that's when it came about.
I just came over. He showed me the song, and like I said, it's a domino effect. Like I'll try to input some vocals in one spot, and we'll find out where we want it, and then we'll just keep building up,
Yep.
and then before we knew it, 4 days later, we had a song.
Yeah.
It's Up in Smoke. It sounds amazing. So.
Yeah.
5 creative, musically minded dudes in a room are gonna always come up with better ideas than the two of yous, as much as, you know, that's what.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When
It
you
would have
mesh
been.
together, it just makes a great sound all over.
Exactly, man. That's really, really cool. I want to talk about what we mentioned briefly before about you becoming sober and Aenly, you know, coming out of a dream. And because I really dig this, man, as someone, because I don't drink myself, man.
Nice.
I made a choice a number of years ago not to, you know, to go down the same road, not drink. And for me, it was,
Nice, dude.
you know,
Congrats,
creative
man.
thing
Seriously,
as well, man.
It's hard.
So, yeah, can you tell me about what your journey was to that point, man? Like, what,
Oh, man. A lot of heartache,
Yeah.
a lot of letdown, a lot of friendships being broken and being lied to and stuff like that. And, like, it got to a point, like, towards the end where I was like, I can't do this anymore, like, with life in general. And things got, like, the night before, I couldn't handle it anymore. So I went to sleep, but there's other things, like personal things that happened, but, like, I went to sleep and I woke up and in that dream, I had this vision of a band saying, like, always forward, and that only you can take yourself out of these situations that you put yourself into, or like that people put you into, and like it's like there's nothing out there.
Hope comes within.
Yeah, the hope. Yeah, exactly. That perfectly put. You know, hope comes from within. And I woke up realizing there's nothing that's gonna help me, and so that's why I'm also agnostic, atheist kind of person.
That's what only means. Is,
yeah,
only.
The only means only.
Yep.
Like I derived, only, but like I don't know, like you know how like Tool has the AE anima.
Yeah, dude. I was like, I'm gonna fuck this name up. I know. Yeah, dude.
Exactly. So that's where the AE and the only came from. Was from that, and like it was just basically me saying to myself, like, only you can get yourself out of these situations, and
that's
nobody else.
That's kind of our message to other people with our name too. Is once you hear it, like, you know, we want to inspire you to be like the first person you can be.
Yeah, but also like we're not bashing anybody's religion or anything like that, because our guitarist is Christian, and like I support him. Like it's not like this is a personal thing, you know.
I'm an atheist and I've got Christian mates too. I totally get your point, dude. I don't jam my atheism down people's throats, unlike some other people do with their things. But yeah,
if it makes you a better person, that I'm all for it. That's what I'm all about. Yeah, But like for me, like within is what makes me a better person, and like my reactions to like everybody. So. Yeah, that's basically a roundabout thing, how it only came about.
I totally get it, dude. And it was probably something subconsciously, dude, or the universe, I call it the universe, or yourself, within yourself going, hey, man, if I want to chase these dreams that I have and to be creative and to reach my full potential, then I need to just focus on that. And for me, it was the same with, you know, what I'm doing in my life at the moment. And anyone can take that same message. Every single person can take that same message, no matter what you want to do with your life and where you want to go. You know, you've got to just put 100% creative drive into it, dude, no matter what it is. So
yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely.
Really, really cool, man. Can I talk about, you were mentioned something about another single coming up, dude? I want to know because this is definitely leading into more. I know you guys are a bunch of creative dudes, and Up in Smoke kind of is the first little taste of what is going to come, because the debut EP, like you said, you were doing that with just you two boys. Now it's a whole band, and you've got all this creative flow and energy coming in, dude. And in this crazy ass time, you must have fucking been pretty busy at the moment, eh?
Oh yeah, no, we actually, our next single that we're going to be bringing out is called Hostility. It's still in the works. Actually, we have everybody. Yeah, we actually wrote it back in December, and then when we got the new members, we dissected the hell out of it and made it like way different. And so that's actually like about 65% tracked. I need to still do my rhythms, and then Connor's going to be putting his drums and like recording them at his studio, and once he does that, he's going to send me the stuff. But otherwise, like that's going to be our next single. It's going to be called Hostility. And what was the lyrics pertaining to?
Actually, I haven't looked at that one. Honestly, I put that days.
Yeah.
But I think in a nutshell, it's just pertaining to like kind of the same message that I guess Up in Smoke is pertaining to, but not so much. It's more dealing with like how other people are able to manipulate and do the things they do to you and not feel it like a thing. And it's up to you to be like, shit, how am I going to deal with this? You know, and then that comes with it. And you gotta like find that road that leads you on the right path, you know.
Also, Up in Smoke it was kind of a good metaphor at the time when it was released, because we had a lot of rioting going on in LA.
Yeah.
And so the way the lyrics are in Up in Smoke kind of pertain to what's going on over there. And
yeah, we really wanted to match the aggressiveness too of the tone of not just the song and what it means to us, but to what's going around like the world right now, what kind of chaos it's in. Like maybe if someone sees this and be like, oh, you know what, like this is the bigger picture. Like we got to open our eyes a little more, you know, like it's not just like this or that. Like we got to be genuine to everything, you know. But,
yeah, I think things are changing. There's a lot of work that can go on in the world, dude. And I think it's just the younger generation coming through are starting to realise, and their eyes are quite open to what's going on. Whereas,
definitely.
You know, there was a lot easier to hide stuff when I was younger. You know, they didn't have the internet or the 24-hour news cycle, or, you know, people with phones able to record everything. So I think that's good because it's able to highlight the wrongs in this world, and hopefully we can bring out the good in people and, you know, get
most definitely
these wrongs that are going on. You know, it's crazy time, man. I want to ask, man, because this is be leading to an EP at all, or an album, or are you just going to bring out a few singles at the moment, kind of get your flow on, and then kind of see where it goes from there?
I think it's going to be a couple singles until probably beginning of next year, because we actually have, I think, 4 songs lined up for singles that are basically almost all done. We need the rest of the members on it and stuff like that. It's gonna be
a good way to keep people interested, dude. Like I've talked to a few bands about, especially coming up. A lot of bands are releasing quite a few singles. I've talked to some bands that just about released every song off their EP bar one, I think, as a single leading into the EP, dude, just to kind of give people a taste, you know, because the underground scene, I know there's so many different ways to break into it, dude. It's fucking hard, and support is a big thing, man. People don't realize guys like yourself, man, you bust your ass, you work your ass off to bring out this music, and most of you guys are pummeling in your own money into it, dude. I always like to chuck this in. I always bring this up about support, man. Where's the best place people can get along and support you guys, man, and your project, and keep you guys bringing out more music? Because that's the thing, if you don't have the support, you don't get that fire in your belly, man, what's the point of keeping on fucking working if you know?
Oh, I do it. Actually, I keep on doing no matter what. Like, that's a personal thing. I don't give a shit what goes on. It's just I'm gonna keep on going. So
that's the way to do it, brother.
Yeah. So I mean, like, unfortunately, like, you know, I can do all instruments. So like, if things were to get to a point where it's kind of slowing down, or like something doesn't work out, I'm gonna keep on going. You know? And I'm pretty sure this guy's gonna be alongside with me. But
how are you gonna do vocals?
But I guarantee, like, they're like the way we are, like Art, Manny, Connor, Andrew, and myself, like, we're not going anywhere. We're gonna
have you got a website or something we can merch yet, or what's the go? Like copies to go like support physical.
Like for merch,
we have onlymerch.com, but like we're working on merch right now. We had a few runs. We had a run of like shirts, and those I think are sold out now. But I'm designing another shirt, a new shirt that I got to show these guys.
Do you have a design art?
Almost.
Well, let us know when you do get your new designs, whatever. I'll chuck up a link on there, and Crannk can share it up to Crannk so people can check out your merch. I always chuck in a little bit about merch and bring up the support thing, because I like people to support as well. You know, I know musicians, every musician I've spoken to has said, look, man, regardless of fucking support or not, I'm going to bring out music, because most of the boys I talk to are in the underground scene. It's like you're artists, and that's another thing that always comes up, and it's interesting to highlight, because most artists I say to, pretty well just about every every artist I've spoken to of like, look, this is in my heart, man. It's my passion, dude. I'm going to bring it out no matter what. I'm going to create. Yeah. I'm going to make music. And that's why music is part of the arts sector. And unfortunately, with this pandemic, it's been overlooked. I don't know if it was the same in the US, but over here in Australia, it was kind of really overlooked, the arts sector as well.
Oh, over here too, most definitely, man. And it kind of sucks. Like everybody's hurting here. Like all our local scene is like is non-existent at the moment, and you can tell on their Instagrams and stuff like that. They're thriving, and I mean we're the same way. We're practicing every Sunday. We're trying to get our sound solidified. So when it does open, we're gonna fucking hit it, like hard.
As soon as we see that opening, we're going for that.
But I'm sorry, like our merch, it's actually Aenly.com.
Yeah.
It's AENLYMERCH.com.
I'll chuck that in there anyway, dude, on the website anyway. Sure. Yeah, so it'd be crazy not being able to play, and I understand exactly why they're doing it. Everyone has to stay safe in this time, and if we all stay safe, we can get over it quicker. And it's probably, because as you boys just said, look, I'm fucking hanging to get on stage and play live, but, it's probably good to kind of space out the releases as well to when you can actually get on the stage again, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself and then have this music and then not being able to play it live as well, because a big part of the underground scene and bands like yourself is playing live, getting on stage and connecting to the audiences that way.
No, most definitely, man. Most definitely.
Even like you said, even if shit doesn't open up right away, we're still gonna be working and like bringing out new songs and probably be doing the.
Well, we're gonna be rehearsing a lot. There's a lot of rehearsal going on right now, and like it's like not like a couple hours. It's like sometimes 5 hours practices, because like there's some intricate parts and everybody's getting it solid. And like they have that drive where it's like, no, we're not gonna leave until it's solidified. So. We're gonna keep going like that up until like we can finally play a show, and when we do, like I said, like we do actually have something planned. And
I've seen that.
November 1st. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Like that came about like through an Instagram message. I was like, I'm down. Yeah. Hopefully it does happen. I think they're waiting until August for the place to really solidify the facility. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be the same over there, and probably a part of you guys would be the same, that when things kick off, all the international borders still closed for a little bit, so the live music scene and the other bands and the music industry, the local music industry, especially in wherever state, city, country or part of the world you're from, it will thrive first, and then we start looking at open up the international borders, because I really want live local bands like yourselves to just thrive, and just for people to get behind you guys. I think it'll be a good time once everything does open up for everyone to get behind bands and go catch bands early, buy tickets early, get to the bands, support them by going to the shows.
I definitely want to go down to Australia. I've never been there, man.
Yeah. You guys love it over here, man. We have some fucking amazing bands like Ground, man. You were talking like Unreal, Metalcore, Thy Art Is Murder, dude. We have some amazing bands. It's for me, it's crazy. It's really hard to keep up on it. I try and keep up with the Aussie metal scene as much as I can, and I'm in the media, and I always miss stuff, dude. It's crazy to see, dude.
Nice, man.
Cool, man. Before I might sign out here, guys, but before I do, I always ask, man, last words, shout outs or thank yous from both of you guys. Start with whoever first.
I want to give a shout out to my bandmates, the rest of them, Martin, Manny, and Connor. Like they kind of keep us going. Well, of course, like our fans. If they're watching, like as many as they are, what's up, and thank you for supporting us.
Doesn't matter how big or how few, like we appreciate any eyes that support what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
If it gravitates towards someone else, like that's awesome. More
yeah, and thank you, man. Thank you for having us on here. Seriously,
this is really cool.
Yeah.
This has been an absolutely fun chat, man. Cheers, guys. Andrew, Riggs, man. Massive shout out from Australia. Horns raised.
Hell yeah.
I love your work. I look forward to everything you bring out, guys. Check out Up and Smoke. Check out their EP. Crank these boys up, and look forward to the new stuff they got coming out. Cheers, guys.
Hey, cheers, man. Take care.
What's up? Cheers, guys.
Yeah.